The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Welcome back to the Personal Safety Show. Once again, this is Marcus Melnick, your host, and we are continuing the conversation with a girl and a gun. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Hang on. Illinois has several chapters. One is in Lake County, one is in Chicago, one is West Suburban Chicagoland, McHenry County, and Naperville. And it looks like the same person runs Lake County and Chicago. Is that accurate?
Lake County and Western Suburban are the same. It's the same instructor. She runs both of them there.
Okay, so that kind of leads me into some other questions. How do the chapters operate? How do they work? What's the logistics?
Our chapters each hold 2 girls' night outs a month, or 2 events, really. Most of the time it's a girls' night out, which is supervised practice. So that means that ladies go to the range and you'll get nuggets of instruction. So an instructor might fix your grip or fix your stance or just kind of coach you through some things. It's not formal instruction. If you need real instruction, formal classes, you need to sign up for a class or a private lesson with these instructors. But all of these women who run our events are certified instructors. They have actually a host of credentials that we require. So they're all certified instructors. They're all certified ranged officers. They've all taken a communications course to make sure that they can talk the talk, and they've all passed on video the FBI qual that all federal agents have to take, showing that they can walk the walk, that they can actually shoot well. And it's important for me and our organization that not only do people represent us, not only are they really good people, they're good teachers, and they're good communicators, and they're good marksmen. So we really want to be the role model of women that are out there on the range and doing things right. They also all have credentials in hemorrhage control or stop the bleed and range management and emergency response. There's a whole host of credentials that all of our instructors have to start a chapter and to maintain it. So yeah, we have a lot of chapters up there. So it's a really great way for women to learn, to come and kind of, if you're new to the gun community and you want to kind of just check it out, you can join their Facebook group and see what they're about, see the events coming up, and then get with that instructor on if you want to take a private lesson before you come to the range, or if you want to just jump in and come see what we're doing. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to come and meet other women and ask questions in a safe and judgment-free zone. It's like what you said about people who are different going to the range. If they think, are there going to be people like me there? I felt that way when I went to the range. It was all old men, and, is it okay for me to go there? Just for us to have this environment where all women are welcome and you know that your people are there, and it makes it a safe and welcoming place.
That's terrific. What type of communications class did the instructors take?
It's a class on different archetypes of personalities. So we have an online course that we've developed. It's identifying, we believe that there's 4 main archetypes of people, and how people learn, how they communicate, and how they buy into what you're saying. Some people just want to go to the range and shoot. They don't care how the gun works. They don't want to get all down in the weeds with information. They just want to have a good time. So competition is fun for them, excitement, shooting is fun. Then there's other people who really want to learn it all. They want all the knowledge. And so as an instructor, you have to be able to have fun, but also give knowledge to the people who need the knowledge. They want to be the smartest in the room, and they want to make sure that they're knowing all the details, all the calibers and the function and why it works. Understanding that, if someone will say Glock doesn't have a safety, and as a knowledge person, you can say, actually, there's 3 safeties inside of a Glock. Let's talk about the safe action system, and you can kind of talk about it. So those people really need that knowledge. And then there's people, we call them blueprints, that are really into the process of things, the tradition of things, why people shoot, the doing it the right way, understanding why this caliber might have a different effect in that caliber, understanding external and internal ballistics, all those kinds of things, like the why behind everything. And then there's people who just come for community. They just want to meet other women. They want to meet like-minded people. They just want to have something to feel like they're in a community that makes a difference and that they feel empowered. And we have a lot of different charitable things that we do, and making them feel like I'm contributing to helping women in law enforcement, or I'm contributing to helping the different charities that we support. Just making a difference is important to them. So all of our instructors have to identify all 4 of those different kind of thought camps and make sure that all of our events incorporate learning styles for each of those. That's what being a good teacher is making sure that you fulfill the needs of your students.
That's extremely impressive and well organized. Do significant others, like husbands and boyfriends, also participate, or maybe go to the range with their partner and shoot in a different area? Is there usually like couples, or is it just strictly female?
You'd be surprised, but actually, no. Most girls are like, "This is my time. I'm with the girls," and he is not there. But there are some. We do some events. So, girls' night out is just girls, and it kind of depends on the event. If we have a stop the bleed class, or we have some kind of other clinic that's appropriate, we'll have it co-ed. Our pheasant hunt that's coming up, we have an annual pheasant hunt. It is a co-ed event where husbands can go on the hunt. So there's some events that we do that are co-ed, but most of the time, women just really like being with other women. Even if they're nervous at first, they meet friends so quickly. And just being open, sometimes when you have your husband or partner there, it makes you a little, you're a little bit divided in your attention. Like, I have to make sure his needs are filled and he's okay and he's watching me and I want to make him proud of me and I don't want to do anything dumb. And it's part of your brain is kind of distracted with what he's thinking or what he's doing. And so by him not being there, it actually creates this really, I love our guys. I'm not anti-guy at all.
Of course not,
I
right?
love our guys, and I could definitely not be where we are without the support of many supportive men in our community. And having women be with other women just creates this dynamic of support, of encouragement. When you see somebody who's a really good shooter, and she might be smaller than you or older than you, and you're like, wow, I can really do it. And it's very inspiring. And it's also nice from a competitor's level to be stacked with others of your peers, so that you can see how you are in the kind of the ranking and how you can get better. It's inspiring. But really just having that community of support when women come together. We have a shooting journal, which has kind of a roadmap of marksmanship skills and different things you can learn. And so you can see how far you've come, but you can also see where you're headed. So it gives everybody a clear view of our program and the skills that you're going to develop on it. And we cheer each other along the way, and there's just a lot of milestones and victories, and we've all bought in. This whole community of women, we have 7,000 women who are card-carrying members, but we actually train about 40,000 women a year, about a little over 2,000 a month. And so everybody's bought into this value system that we have in our shooting journals. Not only are you working on those marksmanship skills, but you're learning personal values and characteristics to help you not just be a better marksman, but to be a better woman, a better person, more confident, more fulfilled in your life. And it's just a really well-rounded program that can help anyone feel welcome and succeed.
You use the word it's inspiring, and I think overall it's inspiring. If somebody wanted to join or participate, what would the cost be and how would they go about doing so?
They can go to agirlandagun.org and find a chapter near them. They can join. To be a member is only $50 a year. That's less than a latte a month. You can join and be a part of this great organization where you get access to the shooting journal, lots of downloads, lots of videos. There's a lot of videos on our website that are member content, training videos, and just lots of discussions. It's surprising how much you can learn from those discussions and virtual training. There's a lot there on our website that members have access to. Members also get an email from me every Tuesday with the training tips and situational awareness reminders of different events that are coming up. So I try to stay in touch with all of our members every Tuesday. And then we have a lot of vendor partners. So we are really fortunate to have great relationships with all of the major players in the industry, and a lot of them have given us discounts. So as a member, you can get discounts on guns and gear and travel and all different things to help you live your best life. So members have access to that in our member portal as well. So it's only $50 a year to be a member. And then on the local level, when you go to the range, it kind of depends on what's happening there. If there's a fee, usually there's a range fee. So you'll bring your ammo. But otherwise, it's pretty accessible for people. We really try to keep all of the barriers to a minimum to make it accessible. All of our training is very affordable. I run everything kind of on a shoestring so that it can be affordable to women, because a lot of times women have a hard time investing in themselves. We're such givers and we're moms and we really want to do things for the family and for our kids and all of these things. But taking that time to invest in yourself is making the family stronger. It is making the family safer, and it is making you have a stronger life, which is ultimately, especially if you have kids, being a good role model for them and how to have a more fulfilling life too. So we make everything affordable so that people can do it. But it's just a matter of doing it. You have to want it.
I will say that $50 a year for it's ends up being free coaching, free training with the cost of a range fee and maybe a couple bullets is a phenomenal deal. I mean, it's just at least in this area, it is unbelievable how much training sometimes can cost. So it's really, I think, a worthwhile. And some of the ranges I go to, they have the signs, girl in a gun, or there's another group called the Well Armed Woman, which I don't know if it's an offshoot, but similar group. I'm very encouraged by that. You did already mention that the website has a plethora of great educational articles, including this is what really resonated with me, how to talk to children about school shootings, about firearms, about safety. Because a lot of times I get the question, and I'm going to direct them to your website now, what age do I start talking to my kids about it? What do I do with my children? Some of my kids don't want me to have it. And it's very interesting. I usually walk people through that. I think that that's a fantastic resource. Robin, what final thoughts can you share regarding firearms, a girl and a gun, or any other topic that maybe I didn't ask?
Well, we kind of covered a whole range of things, but just to kind of dovetail on what you were saying just now about the resources for kids and parents and even grandparents, we have a lot of grandparents that want to be able to talk to their grandkids if they have firearms. Maybe they don't have firearms in the home of their parents, but the grandparents want to make sure that everyone's safe and that we have an understanding of what the do's and don'ts are. So making sure that everyone's on the same page for that. And you're right, when it comes to different conversations with kids, making sure that it's age appropriate is paramount, but also not underestimating the information that you can provide your children, just like you would a tornado drill or a fire drill. You know, a gun safety is just one of those things that we address just safety-wise. And if you make it a non-issue and you make it just, this is our safety plan, then everyone is on board with that, and kids are comfortable with that too. In my home, it's a little different. I said earlier that my daughter she's 13 now, but she's been battling brain cancer for many years. So in my home, we have a lot of difficult conversations about, life and treatment and lots of scary stuff that we have to talk about. As a result of my daughter's brain tumor, she lost her vision, so she's completely blind. So we've had to have a lot of hard conversations in our house, and so I don't discredit that either. Having those hard conversations can be hard, but usually as a parent, you know your child and what's appropriate for them to hear, and you can put it in a way that they understand, that's not scary, that lets them know that you're on it, that they can trust you, that you're protecting them, that they have the information now, that they can make good decisions when you're not with them. That's really all it is to be a parent anyway, is to help your kids know right from wrong and to make good decisions. And also to talk to your schools about decisions they're making when you're not there. What is your evacuation plans? What is your lockdown plans? All of those things, parents need to get involved in those conversations. They can be scary and they can be hard, but we can't shy away from that stuff. I can't shy away from a conversation with my daughter's oncologist. I have to take it head on. And it's the same way with the schools. You have to go in and get the information and make sure that you're comfortable with it and that you feel like they're making smart decisions on your behalf. So I would just encourage more people to just be brave and to be educated and to find resources and learn about what your schools are doing. I work closely with an organization called FASTER. It's faster.org, and it's FASTER Saves Lives. It's an acronym, FASTER, which is faculty and I forget the whole thing, but it's about school response. And essentially it comes down to making sure that there's medical kits in a school in case something happens. But in addition to that, we also provide training for armed faculty and administrators. And that's been very rewarding to work with teachers who are willing to do whatever it takes. And it's not arming all teachers. But if we all know that one person that's kind of run towards the threat, we know that there is someone in that school that's going. Is it the coach? Is it the principal? Is it the math teacher? We know that one person is going because that's just who they are. So let's make sure they have the skills and the equipment they need to do what needs to be done. And that's what FASTER is all about. And I work with them. And there's a lot of organizations in the firearms industry that are really doing good and important work. So there's a lot of resources for parents and just everyone in general to live a great life and a safe life and advocate for our rights.
This is a great conversation. I'm here with Robin Sandoval with A Girl and a Gun, and the website is agirlandagun.org. Robin, if a listener has some questions, how can they contact you or how can they get answers to their questions? What's the best way, best contact, or just go to the website? What would you recommend?
Yeah, go to the website and on our contact page. Those forms are submitted to our office, and I will get them, and I will be sure and respond to everybody. So it's agirlandagun.org, and you'll see the contact link at the top of the website.
Fantastic. Robin, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be interviewed and speak to our listeners about the wonderful things that your organization does.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I could talk about A Girl and a Gun all day long because I'm so proud of our program. So thank you for giving me the platform and the audience to share it with.
My pleasure. My pleasure. With that said, I'm going to segue with some Thanksgiving experiences that I had that are related to safety. I don't announce ahead of time that I'm going out of town. If somebody contacts me when I'm out of town, I don't tell them I'm out of town because I don't want my home to be burglarized. I don't want anything bad to happen. So I never post pictures of my vacation while I'm on vacation. However, I do post pictures when I come back, only the good ones. With that said, my family took a cruise over Thanksgiving, which we had never done before as a new mixed family. We went on Celebrity Summit, and it was absolutely spectacular, gorgeous. There are some experiences I would love to share with you. First of all, safety on a cruise ship. Now, it was very interesting to me that when you get on a cruise ship, you are going through a metal detector, which absolutely I am so in favor of because there is security on the ship. It's kind of a small community. It's maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people, and they're ensuring that people are not bringing weapons on board or contraband, such as drugs, which is great, or alcohol because they want you to buy it on the ship. You actually have a limit on the amount of alcohol you can bring onto the ship. They don't want you getting trashed on your own stuff. They'd rather sell you. So in and out, it was pretty smooth. I think these guys should actually work at some other places because they were very, very efficient. They all checked your ID. The photo popped up. They actually looked at you instead of just running you through, kind of like TSA does on some occasions. We left out of Miami. We went to Cozumel, Mexico, and I'm trying to give my family some street smarts. They could be rough. We got to be careful. It was gorgeous. There was nothing. The worst thing that happened to us, and I say this in jest, was the aggressive shopkeepers. It's kind of funny. I realize this. If you're trying to get me to do something, you're trying to motivate me, do not use the words, "Oh, come on," because why should I come on? It's your issue. So I was looking at these Merces, these man bags, because I carry around a lot of stuff with me. And I'm like, just for like the airline so I don't have to reach into my pocket. Maybe I can get a little thing I can wear. I didn't have any breast pockets. And so I'm looking at this Merce, basically. Don't judge. And the guy's like, "Oh, hey, $50. And I'm like, I don't know. We just got here. I want to look around. Okay, $40. And I was like, no, I want to look around. $35. And I was like, look, I'm not going to buy it right now. I'll get it on the way back. It was literally the first shop off of the cruise ship. And this is what he said to me, "Oh, come on, help me make my first sale of the day." Not my problem. The other thing is they try to get you with sympathy. Hey, during the pandemic, we were closed for 3 years. We didn't make any money. We're giving you a free charm. Come on in. And it's a little, I can't even describe how big it was, but smaller than your pinky fingernail. A little dolphin or something like that. It was silver colored. Doubt it was real silver. And that was to entice you. A lot of them were doing that to go into the stores. So my wife thought I got suckered because I am a big goofball. If you haven't figured out my sense of humor, I do some things that are funny. And I bought a luchador mask. It was the Rey Mysterio mask. I loved it. It was something. And we were able to negotiate a little bit. And my wife's like, "Oh, you got suckered." No, because I really wanted this. I didn't get suckered. They didn't push me into buying something that I didn't really like. I loved it, and I'm going to use it to make some videos for TikTok just to be fun. So the other thing I found that was interesting on the cruise ship is I love watches. I don't usually buy a watch. I usually, I have an iPhone. I have an iWatch, and it's great. But sometimes I like to wear something dressy. And the last watch I bought, which was considered luxury but deeply discounted, was from eBay, and turns out some of the functions do not work. It looks great, but I can't use the stopwatch on it. Okay, it's not the end of the world. But I'm kind of looking for a nicer watch, not a Rolex. I want a Rolex, but I don't really want a Rolex. I want to have the ability to afford a Rolex and not bat an eye. That's what I want. That's the dream, not actually having the watch. So I'm on the cruise ship, and I'm looking at the watches, and I'm looking at, reasonable, a little bit dressy, everyday citizen watches. Nothing, not an Omega, not a Breitling, although I love those brands. And I'm talking to the salesman who was, let's go back and talk about sales. First night I go there, I go to talk to the salesman, and he tells me, oh yeah, all of the Citizen watches are 30% off for the entire cruise because we, Celebrity Cruise Ships, have a deal with Citizen, and we're able to offer these at 30% off. Cool, great. I'm going to keep looking. I'll come back. I come back day 2. It's a different salesman. And I find one that's kind of neat, not really sold on it, and this is what he tells me. I'll give you 30% off, but only today. And I'm like, you schmuck, come on. I didn't say that out loud. And I'm like, this guy's lying through his teeth. He's doing high-pressure sales. Safety is about keeping your money, too, and not being pushed into a sale. So I go back, I talk to a third salesman, super, super nice, very low-key. He was talking about how he loves the machinery of a watch and a clock. And I said, wow, that's very interesting. Earlier on, I mentioned in the radio broadcast that I help people pick out firearms. And I said, I do something very, very similar. And I have an appreciation for the machine that I help people buy. Oh, what do you buy? Well, I don't want to freak anyone out. So I'm like, you promise you won't be afraid? You promise you won't be scared? He's like, yeah, I promise. So I hand him my business card, which is really neat because it actually has a 1911 gun charm on the business card. It's 3-dimensional. It's like nothing anyone has ever seen before. He loved it. And then he was telling me how he is not a gun person, but he'd love to do airsoft against someone else or paintballing or something like that. So it was cool. So we bonded. No, I did not buy a watch. I decided I want to rub my pennies together, save up money, get a different watch that might be a little bit more, but it's going to be, in the near future, hopefully, and if not the near future, then the far future. I don't wear nice watches to the range. I was on the airplane coming back, and it was dark because it was evening time, and I'm going to the bathroom. One of the flight attendants stopped me. Hey, that's a really neat watch. What is it? I said, honestly, it's a piece of crap. I wear an Uzi watch, and it's kind of an off-brand to the G-Shock. It was $20 at a gun store. You can get them for $12 on Amazon. And I got it. I don't care if I bang it up against anything, if I scratch it, if it becomes ruined. It's a couple bucks, and that way I can actually have a watch on and tell the time and keep track of the cadence of the class. So we had an absolutely fantastic time. We learned a ton. In other words, we learned to pack appropriately, which we really didn't quite get. That formal night they called chic night. We didn't quite get that. But now we know, and we would love to go on future cruises. With that said, our flight coming back, I can't tell you the name of the airline, but I can tell you it's a synonym for the word soul, was a disaster. I'm definitely flying United, Delta, or American in the future. Any airline can be delayed. It seems like this airline is delayed more, and we had a 3-hour delay. Now, not the end of the world, not a big deal. I had books to read. We're in the airport. Everyone has their phone. They're being entertained. I helped my son with a homework assignment. But every board we looked at, the ETA was hours different. Our flight was supposed to take off a couple minutes after 2 p.m., And when we got to the kiosk and we had our boarding passes printed, it said boarding at 1:15. And I'm like, ooh, that's not right, because my email says like 2:04, 2:06, something like that. And so then we look at a board. Well, the board now says boarding at 4. Another board says boarding at 5:30. Another board says we'll update shortly. And then we asked some employees, and they all gave different answers. They are not a coordinated company. So very, very frustrating. Stress is a part of safety as well. But hey, man, next time I think I'll be more comfortable in a C-130. And I'll leave the listeners with that because it's a funny comment. Be sure to tune in next week for another exciting episode. I'd love to have you on the show if you have a safety story or element that our listeners would love to. So until then, stay safe. We have monthly concealed carry license CCL classes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates can be seen at firearmmentor.com/classes. If you have a question, we can be reached at www.firearmmentorcard.com. That is our electronic business card, has all of our contact information and links in it. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the shooting range. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor signing off. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.